Now this is much better picking than it was earlier. Yeah, I couldn't go very far. I had to stop, back up. I kept choking up. Row 1 was messing up, and it was my deck plates. They're adjustable, and one of them had slipped out. And whenever I was picking some, the ear would go through the deck plate and choke up the chain rolls. So we got that fixed, but then in the process, a bolt on an idler sprocket got messed up. So we had to get one of those, and as soon as I got that put on, here we are, running. You got certain events, some ears, if you notice how the ears have drooped down already, and which is kind of natural for corn. The ears, when they're mature, they go to black layer. That's when you take the kernel off and you break the tip off that's hooked to the cob. And if you just break it off, you'll see a piece of black. And that's called black layer. And that's when the kernel is mature. Nothing you're going to do to it is going to change it then. So after the kernels are mature and it sits on the stalk for a while, then the ear droops over. And that's kind of like God's natural way to keep moisture from getting in there and causing the kernels in the bottom of that ear to rot. Because if they're sitting up, then it's like a cup. So it's just going to absorb moisture. It's going to sit in there. And then those kernels could either sprout or they could rot. So when the ear droops over, now the husk is like an umbrella, just shielding the ear. After time, sometimes they'll slip out, the ears will slip out, or if you get a wind event and it starts to shake, and it's kind of like you take a piece of wire and you keep bending it, you keep bending it, you keep bending it, eventually it's going to break. Well, the same thing with that ear. If you're just sitting there and the wind's blowing the stalk and it's shaking, eventually it's just going to break and slip out. Some corn hybrids, the plant is standing up, the ears are there, and then when the header hits the stalk, when it's shaking, that ear slips out. So it could be that. Some combines, as you're harvesting, the ears hit the header and bounce out. So it could be that. You could have the header speed too fast, so it's just ripping everything down, and then you just get such force, boom, the ear hits the deck plate and it bounces. Then sometimes it's the outside rows. You know, your row 1 and on airs row 1 and row 8. If the corn's tall, sometimes the ears have a tendency to hit that outside row and then slip out. Now we have fenders that we can raise up on air header, and I don't have them raised right now because I don't have that problem. Ears aren't bouncing out. And 2, we got a lot of corn down. So I don't, if those fenders are there, that's an area for the corn that's down to hang up. And then it doesn't want to feed into the combine very well. So harvesting is just like planting. You set the machine up when you go in the field, and then you have to ground truth it. So we spend, I don't say as much time behind the machine as the harvester as we do behind the corn planter, but we do spend time checking it out. Now that's not an irrigation rut. I think that was just a washout. You know, because we're just like the rest of the country. We had a lot of rain this year. We had a lot of big rains early too. Now I don't live in South Georgia, but we do get some pretty good rain events in the springtime. And we had a couple 6-7 inch events.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. And we're in this continuous no-till, and even continuous no-till has a tendency to wash if you get that kind of water movement. I learned from my granddad, and then I learned from my dad harvesting. And then as the equipment was starting to change and it was easy to do some checking, my cousin showed me a quick and easy way to check what the combine's doing. Is you raise the straw chopper all the way up, and then you just start harvesting, and then you do a quick shutdown where you just stop, put it in neutral, cut everything off, and then you just climb out, and then you look on your sieves, and then you look on the ground to see what the cob looks like. Is it still intact without any kernels on it, or is it broke up? And then you look on the ground and look and see where there are kernels. Are the kernels underneath the trash? Are they on top of the trash? So that gives you some hints as to what loss you may have and where it may be coming from. And then we just make adjustments from there. But the combines have gotten so much easier to do that. It's just you hold a little lever, it's got a hydraulic cylinder or electric motor, just lifts the straw chopper up. And then now, we're harvesting with our new combine, the John Deere S770, and it's got like artificial intelligence, because it's showing us what the grain sample looks like, and then we tell it that's acceptable, and then if it gets to where it's unacceptable, the combine itself starts changing on its own, which is, it's taking all the, I guess not taking it out, it's, what is it doing? It's letting those that are combine operators become less important, because now you can put somebody with a little bit less experience into it, where they can run the combine and you still have as good a grain sample as if you have an experienced operator. But we still don't want somebody that hangs on the steering wheel. So it's either Barley running the combine, or my brothers, or myself. So one of the four of us are going to do the harvesting. When we get into soybeans, it's my brothers Johnny and Jeff. They do most of the bean harvesting, just because Barley and I are either into the small grain planting side of it, or we're supporting the soybean harvesting program. And then we'll start some early fall fertilizer work, some lime work, trying to get ready for the next corn crop. Seems like you're never done, and that's okay. Kinsey 1105, I guess two reasons. One, we wanted the tracks, and we wanted the tracks for multiple reasons. One, because of the compaction we were getting from the rubber tire grain cart, and two, it rides so much better going across the field. And then we like the Kinsey because it's a lower profile. Now it does have two augers. It's got a belly auger and then the auger that feeds it into the truck or trailer that we're loading up. But it is, Barley can unload that grain cart in 1 minute and 57 seconds. So you got to be on your game.
Fast.
Yeah, that is way fast. As some people say, wicked fast. Wicked tuna fast. Uh-oh. Oh, poor Justin didn't do too well in the race, tag on it.
He weren't there.
No, it's because he drove the combine. Yeah, he got used to that rear steer. No, I don't think it was any his doing. He got bumped. He was coming up. He was moving up though.